When is a game worth $80? That's a trick question, it never is. But how do we justify an $80 price tag? And more so, how do we understand why a game deserves to be $80? Hey, it's Pokaie, and today I want to spend a little bit of time talking about Mariokart World, and it's well, I'll say a high price of admission. Because while yeah, people have beaten this dead horse one too many times, I haven't really seen anyone give a good enough explanation as to why this game is priced at $80. So yeah, let's begin. Okay, so first what we're going to do is take a look at the $80 price tag from the view of a game developer. So from a game dev's POV, a lot of work and people go into making a game. Like we're talking concept artists, voice actors, character modelers, level designers, musicians, beta testers, basically every job under the sun that has to do with game development. And let's not forget that each of these positions needs to be paid, meaning that the price of a game not only has to cover the cost it took to make it, but also make enough money so the game studio can actually break even and make a profit. But just how much money goes into making a AAA game? Now, in an article titled The Rising Cost of AAA Game Development by Anastasia on eJaw, it stated that the average cost to build AAA games with entry-level and mid-level features is between $60 million and $80 million. However, the price of AAA games might go to $100 million or even more. Now, luckily, Anastasia also tested information that covers the cost of production for certain AAA games, so we're actually able to see just how much money went into making these games. And as we can see, Cyberpunk 2077 was made with a budget of $313 million, and Horizon Zero Dawn was made with a budget of around $50 million. Now real quick, it's worth noting, especially for this video, that Horizon Zero Dawn was released in 2017, Cyberpunk 2077 came out in 2020. And I know the difference in years might not seem all that important, but it's also something to keep in mind as both the cost to make games as well as the price of pretty much everything else have only gone up in the last few years. So when it comes to the exact budget that went into developing Mariokart World, you should probably expect something between the $100 to $200 million range. Now the reason to bring all this up is to show you just how much money goes into game development, because AAA studios like Nintendo can't make a game off of the money gone from a Kickstarter the same way indie developers can. And I know that's like a oh duh no shit dumbass moment, but you'd probably be surprised just how many people don't realize this. But this is basically all to say that a lot goes into game development, a lot more than you think, and it's definitely a lot more than I discussed here. Because I didn't even bring up how stuff like tariffs and exporting costs, which might seem trivial to discuss, play a big role when students are deciding the prices of their games and accessories. But now that I've talked about this from a game developer's perspective, it's time to switch sides and look at this from the perspective of the consumer. Or, well, I guess you, the person watching this video. Now, from a consumer's perspective, damn, this shit's expensive. Now, in all honesty, the only way I can say a game is worth $80 as a consumer is if the game is a standout 9 out of 10 in all areas, keeps the player entertained for at least a few hundred hours, and has enough content to keep the player coming back on a semi-regular basis. But even then, an $80 price tag for a game is still pretty high. Hell, 70 bucks was pushing it, but 80? That's really pushing it. Now, I talked about this in my last video, but in today's economy, more so in America, where it seems like just about everything costs an arm, leg, and then some, spending 80 bucks in a game just isn't really feasible, especially for those with tight budgets. And honestly, if you want my 2 cents on the matter, while I do plan on picking up Mariokart World at some point, the price for it is just too damn much. And even when you look at this from both a game developer's and consumer's perspective, it's still just too damn much for one game. So while I'm confident that Mariokart World would be a load of fun and be a game I sink 100 hours into, I unfortunately don't live comfortably enough to spend 450 bucks on a new Switch and then 80 bucks more on Mariokart World. But at the end of the day, whether or not you decide to spend $8 on Mariokart World is totally up to you. Just remember that when you're making your voice heard, let your wallet do the talking. Hey, it's Pokaie, and I hope you enjoyed the video. I know this my previous video are outside of what I usually do since I mainly cover indie games nowadays, but I hope you enjoyed it all the same. I actually like making these kinds of videos. And I know I'm late to discussion with this one, but it honestly felt like I had to wait a little bit until the Switch 2 price was released. That way nothing in the video felt outdated. Regardless though, feel free to do the usual YouTube stuff of liking and subscribing, and I'll see you in the next one where hopefully I'm talking about indie games. Bye!